Yeah.
To link into the MMA Junkie Radio Network, hit us up on twitter.com at MMA Junkie Radio. This is MMA Junkie Radio. Here are your hosts, Gorgeous George and Goes.
We'll be talking to Ray Borg in the second hour. Right now, the lines are wide open if you want to call in, 866-522-2846. You can tell us what you want next for Kelvin Gastelum, Vitor Belfort, and any of the other people that fought on the UFC Fight Night 106 card. Right now, we're going to talk to Jersey Mike. He's been waiting the longest. And then we'll get back to recapping some of the fights that finished up on the prelims. What's up, Jersey Mike? How you doing?
I'm all right. So I just want to give a quick stun gun to my boss. On Friday, he had me fire somebody.
Ooh.
And then, which is never a good experience. And then he had me drive the person home.
What?
Yeah, it was a really, really weird situation where the guy didn't have his car that day, and my boss didn't want him hanging around the workplace. So after we got rid of him, he had me drive him home, and it was awkward.
Yeah, what was that like?
Well, I didn't want to have it be silent and awkward for the whole ride, so I kind of just continued my speech about how to improve on his work skills so he can find another job. And yeah, it was it was
Wow.
kind of weird, but yeah.
He didn't say like, ease up, asshole. I'm already gone.
No, he just kind of took it like a champ,
Really? Damn.
Yeah.
And so he just didn't do good work, or was he always late, or did he touch the secretary in the butt? Like what can you discuss this?
No, he was always punctual. He showed up every day.
Right.
His work was kind of shoddy, but he was the give an inch, take a mile type. He was always taking advantage of situations. So
Those are the worst.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
How about you guys? You got a stun gun story for today?
I do.
Oh, cool.
Do you want to hear it
Oh
now?
no, let's go through Jersey Mike's call, and then we'll hear yours.
Where are you going with this? Because you got that funny tone, like.
No, just wondering. That's all.
All right.
Jersey Mike.
I was just going to chime in. I thought this weekend was really good. The fight card was really good. But I would really like to see the UFC open up more divisions. I'm very pro more weight classes. And one of the weight classes I would really like to see is a women's flyweight. I really like Mackenzie Dern. I like watching her fight. She definitely has the image for the UFC. And I just don't think she can make 115 consistently, She fought at a catch weight at 120, and I was looking at it, and I think there are definitely smaller 135s and bigger 115s already in the UFC, along with, they could probably find about 5 to 10 girls from Invicta. I think they can get a good top 15 to put together.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. I don't think the 45 division should have happened when it did, but I recall what Ronda did with 35, and 15's got a plethora of talent. But Ronda and Misha and a few of the other gals pulled it together, and now 35's out there. They've made some stars. There's some girls there that make a lot of money for the UFC. 45, they rallied around Cyborg, and although it didn't pan out early on, looks like it will, because I think Cyborg's cleared to fight at some point soon. So the thing is, I think Dern will eventually be a 15er, but if they did do a 25er, I bet you Dern's the type of gal that's already caught the UFC's eye, because now they've seen this blueprint, and I don't want to call her like a needle mover in terms of put her on a card now she can headline a UFC pay-per-view. No, I'm saying she's a needle mover for just Access TV and legacy. I think people are taking notice. I see a lot of chatter about her in the forums. So, yeah, if she decides to do 25, she may be one of those that make the UFC decide they want to do it. And the problem is you're going to take a few 15ers away, and that's a division that's really flourishing and doing well. And you're going to take some 35ers away, which is another thing that 45 just did, and so you might hurt that division. So It's some really, really tough decision making. If you're just going to say, build it and they will come, just let us deal with it. Okay, build it. Let's go. Let's do the 25. I think it's fair. There's no sense in going 25, 35, then 45 when you can just have 4 divisions, build on them, and be set for a while.
First things first, you got to make the weight, though, right? And I think she attributed it to
Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Yeah, grappling tournament.
Different weight class.
I just don't know.
But I think she's had a problem with it before.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
I mean, it's 3 fights, and she's missed weight 2 of 3, right?
Mm-hmm.
Got to get that.
But I think everyone's, who's going to have a problem with Mackenzie Dern right now? She's a good-looking gal, very, very, seems very, very nice and, hopefully professional. So I think people are just like, it happens, Mackenzie. Get in there and take care of business, But, of course, if it was someone else may not get that type of privilege.
True.
But she is handling business. And how about this? Her striking looked good.
It's getting better.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I should say that.
The ceiling was very, very high for her.
Hell yeah. I was like, whoa. I mean, that was refreshing to see Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu-based fighter have that type of leap and bound so quickly.
Yep.
All right, buddy.
I just want to give a quick shout out to Barboza. The last 3 guys he beat were absolute killers, and I know he's not the money name that Nate Diaz is looking for, but who wouldn't want us to Barboza and Nate Diaz scrap? I'll talk to you guys tomorrow.
See you, bud. Let's talk to Marco in Waco, Texas. What's up, Marco?
Hey, Marco from Waco. Good weekend of fights, man. Boxing.
Very good.
We saw. I almost die in the freaking. What is his name? And I don't remember. It was a good boxing match, and this Saturday, and of course the UFC happened. Kevin Lee, super happy for Kevin Lee, man. I was rooting for the guy. He wasn't looking too good on the first round for homeboy. Then he pulled the rear naked choke. And I was so happy for him.
Me too. And I haven't had that feeling in a while. I mean, I get it. Like Johnny, I homer for him and Cub and, all the guys along the years. Trigg, Masvidal, Ellenberger.
Melendez.
Yeah, exactly. But on Saturday, I was counting it down like a little kid.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I kept saying, what time the prelims start? 4. Okay, so then Kevin's the 6th fight, this, that, whatever. He's going to fight at this time. And I was waiting, and there was an hour countdown, and I was ready. And then when he fought, I was like on the edge of my seat. And it's because I've grown to like the kid, man. He sits right here. And even though some of you, didn't dig him at first, some came around, some just don't dig him and probably won't dig him. Who knows? But I'm into it, so I was rooting for him, man, and I was happy. I jumped out of the chair when he got the win, and he faced some adversity, but he did it. He's backing some of that up. So that's not – think about it. That is not an easy away game. That's like in the NFL going, oh, fuck, we got to go to Green Bay? When? Oh, December? I mean, you're hoping that it's like in September or something like that. Oh, come on, man, the leaves haven't changed color or anything, but no, you're going in December to Green Bay. That's what fighting Trinaldo is in Brazil. And he went in there and he did it. So I'm glad to hear another junkie was just as happy as me.
You were like Robert De Niro in Goodfellas when Tommy was about to get made, all smiling.
Oh, hell yeah. Eating breakfast. Couldn't wait for that phone call.
Yeah, he didn't get killed on this one. Yeah, real quick, Barboza, he was losing the fight before sending that he was heading to orbit, dude. But wow. Let's see Kevin Gastelum. He is the Frankie Edgar 185. Don't cut him away, Kevin. He looks fantastic. Colin Anderson Silva, great. If he get the fight, I'm all for it. If not, winner of Whitaker Sousa. Let's see what the kid got. With that, I'll let you guys catch you guys tomorrow.
All right, Marco. Good call. Thank you. Hey, how good would Gastelum look if there was a 175-pound division?
Yeah, I guess.
Because those are those 5 brutal pounds that you don't want to cut.
Uh-huh.
But I think it'd be the strong Kelvin Gastelum walking in on a Saturday.
That would probably help out a lot of guys.
Yeah.
Trust me. I mean, I think the thing about him is he still seems like he's getting better. I thought at one
Johnny
point
Hendricks, I think, too, would
out.
slide in at 75.
Hector
I think you
Lombard.
go, you're right, 85 is a bit Hector Lombard. I think there's a few guys that would slide in and go, some of the bigger welterweights and just go, yeah, that's what I'm talking about, 175. I just wish they would do it, man. And I don't want us to do it. I don't want to come in here one day and say, finally, we got 65 and 75, but our thoughts and prayers go out to so-and-so who died from a tragic weight cut. Mm-hmm. I don't want it to become because of that. I think there's good reasons right now. Hey, WME, IMG, you love title fights? Here's another one. Here's 65 and 75. We're pulling out 70. We'll call it the GSP, Hughes, Woodley, Lawler. You know, it was their division back in the day. But now we're going with 65 and 75. Run it.
Did we ever come up with a name for it?
Well, one of them would be the new welter. So I would say 65 is the new welter, and just call the other one super welter. Or you can call 75 the welter and call the other one junior welter. But super sounds better than junior to me.
Yeah.
Like, have you ever had a superstar at Carl's Jr.?
Mm-hmm.
There you go. Case dismissed. Let's do another break. You're listening to MMA Junkie Radio on Sirius XM Rush Night. I know it looks like it's back to back, but we went pretty far on that first roll, covering the event. That's why we're just gonna take these back to back and then come back and finish recapping UFC Fight Night 106. Shout out to Sean from Arizona, also a current member of the military or former member of the military. Current, okay. So thank you very much for your service, Sean. And we'll be right back on the MMA Junkie Radio Show.
King Kong has a lot of shit on them. Like a lot, especially Goes. Here, Gorgeous George and Goes.
All right, so to finish out the recap for UFC 106, I think we'll put the Lee fight to bed, guys. Did you want to chime in anything, or are we done with that? He's saying Habib, and I like the aggression. I just don't think he'll be next for Habib.
Nah. I would say he's somewhere in like Michael Johnson land right now, right around that tier. But if he gets a win there, then yeah, you're talking about him versus someone that is right on the cusp of a title.
Chiesa was on Friday's show, and he's looking for an opponent. So that could work. There's also a fight that involves Will Brooks and Charles Oliveira coming up. I think it's in Buffalo. And Will Brooks and Kevin Lee have chirped back at each other on Twitter many times.
That'd be fun.
So that would be fun if they want to wait for that angle. One guy's proudly from Detroit, the Motown phenom, Kevin Lee, who now lives in Vegas. And then the other one is Will Brooks, who now lives in Florida, but he's big. He's a big Chicago guy. So maybe they could play off of that if they really do plan on going to Detroit or Chicago again. Charles Oliveira, well, yeah, I guess it would be I think Trinaldo's
like on the same,
step down.
yeah.
Trinaldo just had a 7-fight win streak snapped. So I'd say Oliveira might be a step down. I think Brooks commands respect because he was a Bellator champion. I think he's 1-1 in the UFC. He's got a great record. But, again, there's that city rivalry. Chiesa, sure, let's run it. Chiesa sounds like he was shooting for higher than guys like Kevin Lee, so he may be the one that declines it. I don't know. A lot of divas in the sport.
What I will give Kevin Lee that I want to congratulate him on was his post-fight speech. He apologized to the Brazilian crowd because he did flip him off, but whatever. They also wanted him to die, so I think he can get away with that. But he called out Detroit, and he said he wanted to bring the UFC to Detroit, and he wanted to be on that card. And I think that's what really starts talks for going there. And I know a lot of people will go, well, what about Hawaii? People have been saying that for a long time. It's a little different in this situation. And I think he can get that Detroit card. And if he does, it's got to be that type of rivalry, like you said, a guy from Chicago versus a guy from Detroit. They can't wear the jerseys, but maybe one of them walks out with Isaiah, the other one walks out with Pippen or something. But there's got to be something to that. And I think that would be a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah, I agree. He planted the seed. Sergio Moraes defeated Davi Ramos. And, even though it was 30-27 across the board, Ramos
shouldn't have been.
He wasn't bad.
Yeah.
I remember him fighting Rickles in Bellator. I thought he was going to get used, but, God, for having that stocky frame and, being jacked, I mean, he had a gas tank, and he hit hard. He throws really, really hard. Even when he was missing, you could just tell, like, whoa, if that connects. Moraes used his length. I wish he would have popped the jab a little more often because he had quite a reach on him. But he did use the front kick, and his experience, I think, is what won him the fight. Joe Soto versus Hani Yahya was a very bloody fight. They clashed heads early on. But I'll tell you what, man, Soto had a motor on him, and he just kept coming out after Yahya, and he was not afraid to mix it up with him on the ground. In fact, even trying to submit him at times. I thought that might be his downfall because in these scrambles, you just never know where you're going to wind up, and you have someone like Hani Yahya take your back or mount you. You're in a lot of trouble, but he kept coming after him. There was a couple times he decided to stand. They had to clean up the eye a couple times. But in the end, he just, I think, out-toughed Hani Yahya. That's not to say the other guys are puss. It's just both guys really had to dig deep, and I think Soto dug deeper.
I think he could have finished the fight, but I really think he was looking for that statement of trying to finish his opponent with a submission. But I think he could have finished it. I mean, Formiga was done. At the end of the second round, he could barely walk. I think, didn't they have to help him back to the stool? He was tired.
Yeah. Formiga. Wait.
I'm sorry, sorry, yeah.
Yeah, okay. I was thinking, wait a minute, he looked good.
Yeah.
All right, yeah. Michael Prasaris defeated Josh Berkman. This is the fighter I told you earlier when we were talking about Belfort that retired and then unretired. Berkman left his gloves there. Didn't have an official announcement to share with Brian Stan, who was the in-ring announcer, aside from being the color commentator that night, along with John Anik. It was just told to us that he left his gloves there, and of course that's usually a sign of retiring. It looks like going back, maybe after some reconsideration. I don't know the official response, but it sounds like he has reconsidered, or maybe he never meant to retire, or I don't know what he meant. I have to go back and check it out. It was a long fucking day, man.
He said that
just wanted to go to bed.
He's closer to retirement, but he didn't want to go out like that. But he did say whatever his next fight is, it could be that fight for him.
Then why did he leave the gloves?
He just changed his mind.
Oh, he did. Okay. So at that moment, he felt I should retire, and then changed his mind.
I think so. He said
Okay.
He just said it was a terrible performance for him. He's never felt that before, but then he went back and thought about it, and so he doesn't want to go out that way.
Jamie Kennedy defeated Honey Jason, and Paulo Enrique Costa defeated Gareth McClellan on the Fight Pass prelims. There was a finish in the Costa fight. He finished McClellan. Kennedy took Jason to a decision, and it was 29-28, two-time 29-27. So some liberal use of the 10-8. I think that's what we all wanted because not all 10-9s were created equal.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the judges are they're pulling it out. One judge, Sal D'Amato, was chastised for it by the executive commissioner here in executive director, of the Nevada State Athletic Commission here in Las Vegas. And I think, as experienced as Sal is, I think he's a good judge. But I would say that I also agree with Bennett. I didn't think that was a 10-8.
A lot of people disagree
Because it was too short of a time, I think, where the fight was fairly even. That even though someone got hurt, I just don't think you define a 10-8 that quickly.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I mean, you can, but it just didn't feel like a 10-8. Like, it felt like a 10-9. It felt like a fight that we were all sitting there going, wow, we might give this a 10-10. Next thing you know, someone explodes, and now we have a 10-9, but not to the point where there's just threat after threat, moment after moment, a flurry. There could be a finish. We're not saying that 3 or 4 times during that time that Woodley was hurting Thompson.
I'm curious to see what the 10-7 is supposed to look like now.
Probably the
10-8,
probably the former 10-8.
The 10-8 is like half of what the old 10-8 used to be, right? It's
Little
more
bit.
of a more definitive 10-9, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm wondering if the 10-7 is going to get used more.
I thought the 10-8 was appropriate in Renault. Did you?
Oh, that's so too, yeah.
Yeah.
She dominated the round.
Yeah, I thought it was appropriate there. But I didn't think it was in Woodley Thompson. Did you?
No.
Yeah, neither did I. Okay. We have a little less than 2 minutes. Let's talk to Dan in Oregon. What's up, Dan? How you doing?
What up, man? I'm glad you brought up this judging talk again. I thought what Bob Bennett came out and said was completely ridiculous. If there's a time limit on how many points a round can swing, then what is it? If it's not 20 seconds, is it 25? Is it 30? Like, what are we talking about here? Jumping back, what's a 10-7? A 10-7 is Darren Elkins in round 1.
Yeah.
When you're watching a fight, thinking that this should be stopped. It's Weidman versus Rockhold, round 3. That's a 10-7 in my eyes.
Kind of like a former
10-8,
right? Like what we used to refer to as 10-8s before.
They call it that. I've always called it a 10-7.
All right.
They're not liberal enough with the 10-8s. But yeah, okay. So if the round was maybe 10-10, and then all of a sudden it's the most decisive round out of the whole fight, all 5 rounds, and he takes him down, almost finishes him. That's a 10-8, man. I don't care how quickly it came about. Like, oh, it swung so fast.
You know what, Dan? You're right. You're right. It shouldn't be gauged by time. You're right. It should be gauged by, did he distance himself enough from clearly winning the round to dominating the round. So I guess using adjectives, I was caught more towards, oh, he won the round. That captured him in the round. Not he dominated the round. And I think domination comes from length of time usually. So we associate it like that, but you're right. It shouldn't matter whether you almost put someone out within 8 seconds or it took you 20-some seconds. We got to go, man. Thanks for the call. We'll be back in a few minutes.
Tell your boss to reschedule that meeting. Call your wife and tell her lunch is off. It's time for more MMA Junkie Radio with Gorgeous George and Goes.
All right, it's the second hour of the MMA Junkie Radio show. Just want to finish up some things here with UFC Fight Night 106. 107's this Saturday again. Here we go. London, Corey Anderson versus Jimmy Manuwa. Looking forward to that?
I'll just be honest, no.
This one we did, though,
I
right?
do want to see the Gunnar Nelson fight.
I looked forward to this one. The other one, I was like, eh. But when it starts, I'm into it. My parlays.
I can't think of anything other than March Madness right now.
Really? So if I have it on back here, you won't be turning back here and watching?
If there's games up there,
Yeah.
I'm looking that way.
Really?
Yeah.
Even main event time, co-main event time?
Well, actually, I'm probably looking at my buddy Sam's haircut. But if I can peel away for a second from his beautiful hair, then yeah, I would look at the college basketball.
Let me say this, and then you can get into your stun gun story. Fortaleza, Brazil. It's a city in the northeast of Brazil. Was the host city for UFC Fight Night 106. The attendance was 14,069. So it goes. More people were there than were at the T-Mobile Arena for UFC 209, headlined by Woodley and Thompson.
That's legit.
They came strong. They'll get another show. Not this year, but I'm not even sure about next year. But they'll get another show because that's a great representation for themselves. The venue, of course, was the Centro de Formação Olímpica do Nordeste. Fortaleza, do something about that, man. Just call it the Fortaleza Civic Center or something.
If I were your Uber driver and you started with that, about halfway through, I think I just open the door and just get out.
Yeah. You want me to type all that into the navigation? No. They should just call it the Fortaleza Arena. Instead, they went with the Centro de Formação Olímpica do Nordeste. 14,000 in attendance. It doesn't have the gate. Here were the bonuses. 50,000 goes to Kelvin Gastelum, Edson Barbosa, Michael Praceres, Paulo Henrique Costa. No fight of the nights. Although I think Borg and Formiga could have qualified. That was a scrap, Goes. And I'm not just saying that because Borg's going to be a guest of ours. I just thought it was really, really impressive.
I thought there's actually quite a few fights that I thought were just fun.
I agree. That one qualified. I thought Barbosa and Dariush qualified, but they did give Barbosa the performance of the night. But I thought Dariush did a lot. He was winning the fight. He did a lot prior to losing.
I thought Renault and Betch was fun.
That was a fun fight, yeah. So Gastelum, Barbosa, Praceres, and Costa were Performance of the Night winners, and there you have it. That's UFC Fight Night 106. 107's on Saturday, and because it's in the UK, London, right? Yeah, it's in London. There's a adjusted start time. So I will relay that to you all, Fight Pass, prelims, but I believe it's going to be a daytime affair. It's not, I don't think it's on, I don't think it's delayed. I don't think it's a delayed broadcast. It's live. It's just it'll be early in the morning. Then there'll be games going on. So we'll try and give it as much attention as we can that day, some tweets here and there. But for the most part, this one I think just gets lost in the shuffle. And let's face it, people have been clowning because it's just not the sexiest main event ever.
Well, they didn't get the co-main either until like a couple weeks ago, right?
Right.
So that card.
Now, if you recall, last time they were in London, they were with Anderson Silva and Michael Bisping. So if you're a London ticket consumer, you're probably going, what the fuck? Like, we represented. You're supposed to come back with a stronger show.
Use a different browser. That's what happens to me.
No, I'm on the boiler room.
Oh.
Yeah, I think that's what did it. Here we go. It's popping up. Last year, Michael Bisping and Anderson Silva, they were actually the headliners for a fight card out there in London. Let me just go over that one and compare it to the one coming up. Motherfucker! Why do I keep losing this? Is it time that... Tell me something. you probably answered this many times. Is being on YouTube and Facebook killing us? Both of them. Is it killing the ability for us to? Why am I losing my connection? Is my question.
You're on MMA Junkie Radio?
Mm-hmm. And it just goes off. And I know last week we got logged off a few times. So is being on two platforms killing us?
No, it shouldn't be killing that.
No.
You're having problems connecting.
Why is that?
You would be able to connect, but you wouldn't be able to.
No, I got to go on the free Wi-Fi, I guess. All right. Well, I'll have to compare it another time. It's just not as good as last year's card. Last year had Anderson and Bisping, man. You come strong like that, come back to the city just as strong, especially when they sell you out. The O2 Arena was a sellout last year. All right, Stun Gun Monday. This weekend, if something or someone pissed you off, you did your best to walk away, not confront them. Take a deep breath, relax, gather your thoughts, compose yourself. Wait 24 hours or 48, whenever it happened, and you call in Junkie Radio. Stun gun them here on the show. We'll do that for you. Let your frustrations out with us. Let's all have a good laugh at someone's expense. We'll show you what we're talking about. Goes, you want to lead things off this weekend? Or this week?
Sure. I would like to stun gun a listener of our show that goes by the name of Sam All Jam.
Mm-hmm.
Every year, we make a big deal about March Madness here in Vegas. By the way, you're not a welcome if you're thinking about, oh, that sounds cool, I'm going to come hang out. This is our time where we just hang out, we chill, and we watch basketball games.
Mm-hmm.
Love it. Sam All Jam came for the first time last year, okay? Said he would never miss it ever again because it was so much fun. Well, this year, he was on the verge of missing out. At the very end, he decided, fuck it, I'm in. He has his plane ticket. He was supposed to arrive tomorrow. He finds out, Sam's on the East Coast, finds out that
they're about to get hit by the storm.
Really bad storms. So he's nervous. He doesn't want to miss anything. So
because he really wants to come out for March Madness.
He wants to come to Vegas, and he wants to see all the
time's been taken off from
games.
work. The wife gave the blessing. He saved up some money in his pocket, and he wants to come out and watch a sport that he loves.
And the best part of March Madness is that first game when they tip off and everybody goes berserk. If you miss that, it's kind of like you showed up to the UFC and you missed the prelims.
Or the Pride
the
and you missed the fireworks and the presentation.
Exactly. That's a perfect analogy. Sam does not want to miss that. So here's what he did. He went on whatever website he goes on to change his ticket, and he was going to change it for yesterday or today so that he could avoid this storm and make sure he gets here on time. However...
Oh, and just so you know, right about now, a Muppet has already notified Sam.
Oh, yeah. Team
that
Muppet.
You're...
Yeah, they're going crazy.
Because I've been on the end of many of these, and I just get to hang back. Like Carla Esparza waiting for the bus. When she's waiting for a fight, she's just standing there like this. Just like that.
Hey, by the way, man, you're getting killed on MMA Junkie Radio right now.
Yep, and it's not Gigi, it's Goes this time.
There is a Muppet right now with a finger like this going, oh, man, that's me.
Yep.
That is you. Anyway, so he goes on, he logs on, and he was going to change it for either.
There's multiple Muppets, too, because when Sam calls in, they'll go,
Muppet.
They've been blowing my phone up.
Which means two people.
Oh, at least, yeah. Go ahead.
He was supposed to come either last night or tonight. We're going to host Sam. And we were okay with him coming early. That's fine.
You can't find a better guest, by the way. Very clean, military style. Leaves you the bed the way he found it. Nice and tucked. You could bounce a quarter. Respectful. Awesome guest.
He does not have to worry about that. Okay? All he's got to do is get to Vegas.
Oh, can I add to that?
Go ahead.
I heard the airlines, in anticipation of the snowstorm, were very accommodating towards passengers, to anyone that wanted to advance their trip, either for business or pleasure, where they'd be like, yep, let's do it. Just get in here. And if we have the space, there's no fees. I believe I heard that on one of the news stations yesterday. So
that
even
sounds
easier.
Delightful to me. When do the airlines ever do that?
Right. You
so
just can't wait to fuck you, man.
You got an airline
except for
willing.
Southwest. Shout out to Southwest. If you just go, can I switch it? They go, okay. As long as the price hasn't gone up, but they don't hit you with a fee. Everyone else hits you with a fee. $150. Why? Just because I had to hit enter. Okay.
Yeah, they're the worst. So now you have an airline that's willing to work with you. That never happens. Hosts that are willing to work with you. That's awesome. Except Sam finds out that if he were to switch his flight, to either yesterday or Monday, he would not be able to get a haircut from his barber in time. Sam gets a haircut once a week.
Excessive.
So let's just say he's at the end of his cycle. 7 fucking days have passed by since his last haircut. Is he looking like the Wolfman at this point? Probably not, right?
Don King? I don't know.
Can anybody
How bad
even
can it get?
tell? Or are people like, is there a cubicle next to him with a countdown that's going, hey, Sam, you're on day 6, buddy. You might want to tighten that up. Nobody's doing that.
You look like shit, Sam. What are they telling him that it's so stuck in his head?
So, Sam pushed his flight to Wednesday, okay? And now he feels like he's going to avoid the storm on Tuesday because, storms, they in and out.
Mm-hmm.
If that storm sticks around, he is going to miss day 1 of March Madness.
Mm-hmm.
And he did that all because he wanted to tighten up his hair. Because we don't have fucking barbers in Las Vegas. You might as well pack toilet paper and water because we don't know what we're doing out here in Las Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
And he risked missing one of the best times of the year for a haircut.
My guy Jimmy Scissors is from Jersey, so they could play that whole East Coast, man. East Coast. The fade, the this, the that. And I could have found a way to get him in there. Jules can cut hair. A lot of people can cut hair. I just don't know why there's this obsession with it.
Even if he walked in with the coolest hair I have ever seen in my life, enough for me to go, hey, man, looking good.
Right.
That's the end of it. That's where I leave it.
Right.
I don't come back an hour later and go, hey, that haircut. Keep it up, man. We don't do that. It's just a bunch of guys watching college basketball. Who on earth are you going to impress?
Mm-hmm.
I could see if we said, yeah, it's going to be the usual cast, and the bikini swimsuit team from Switzerland or from Sweden, they'll be here too. They ain't going to be here.
Just a bunch of
It's
fat,
90%
beer-drinking,
dudes.
hoops-loving beer guzzlers. That's it.
So, that's my stun gun.
While you were talking, I got a text from Elias Theodoro who said, boy, this guy really takes it far with the hair.
Mm-hmm.
So even he is outraged by all this. I think we're just going to leave it at that. I don't know that I have anything. I have one that I should be careful, and I'm going to steal it from you guys in a way, only because I kind of wanted to say it anyway. But I just want to say that in the MMA community, I feel like one thing that, because we're celebrating some really, really milestones this year. We just had our 24th 100. That didn't mean to come off the way it did, but we appreciate all the kind words about it last week. But we have our 25th 100 show coming up this summer, and then our 10-year anniversary on April 11th. We're stoked about that. Another thing we're stoked about is that for the most part, I don't think too many people hate us, and that's because we've kind of just subscribed to doing business like gentlemen. Along the way, there's bad news and good news, but I've always felt like, God, a phone call or a handshake or just hand to hand, man, it means a lot. I'll just leave it at that. But yeah, this past weekend was a little disappointing in that regard. And I just hopefully, these people that we've been friends with for years, and hopefully it's just one of those where we wind up having a conversation and maybe a pass is given and we just continue on, because there's really, really good people, and that hurts the most, is when you're disappointed by good people. But whatever. No names, just that's it. I just needed to get that off my chest. Victoria, anybody pissed you off this weekend?
Yes.
Okay.
Daylight savings time. Spring ahead.
That hour means a lot to you, huh?
I lost an hour this weekend, yep. Not happy about it. I'm still recovering. Tomorrow will be okay.
Yeah. On Saturday night, about 11:30, I was tired. 11:30 Pacific. I was tired. The event ended around 10. I watched the post-fight show, which goes till about 11. But because I'd go take a leak, so I'd freeze it, the TiVo or whatever. Or I'd go and maybe get some water or, the dog or something. It was about 11:30 when Grisham, Bisping, and Eves said, "So long, everyone." And I was kind of yawning. I was tired. But I've been really lazy, and I let my weight get out of control. So I've been trying to say, nope, I got to rally and go to the gym. And I didn't go all day Saturday. So I said, okay, this is going to suck, but I'm going to do it. I'll be home. I'll do a quick one. I'll be home by 1. I went to bed almost at 5. And I'm feeling what Victoria's saying because by the time I got to the gym, it was 12:30. I lollygag. I worked out, and the workout ended around 1:45. I go, quick shower, maybe asleep by 2:15. Get home, it was 3. Because what was supposed to be 2 was 3. Mm-hmm. And it was 3. I think the adrenaline from the workout, the shower just had me still a little bit away. Let me go see what's happening here with the post-fight press conference and the news that's trickling in. By the time I actually fell asleep, it was 4:30. So what contributed a little bit was that hour as well. I'm hurting. I haven't recovered from it.
I'm not a fan of it either. Maybe we'll give it an extra one.
866-522-2846. If you want to call in, let's chat. In fact, Hal's ready to go. Let's talk to Hal from Chicago. What's up, Hal?
What's up, Coach?
How you doing?
Got a stun gun.
All right, let's hear it.
Stun gun Monday. I want a stun gun commissioner of my son's Little League baseball. We sign up, and I just see that I'm coaching, and we're Team 4. And I said, hey, man, so what's our actual team name? Because it just says Team 4. And he says, oh, my bad, let me post the names. All right, he posts them, and it turns out that whoever is sponsoring the team, that's the name of your team.
That's stupid.
So we're Noble's Kitchen and Baths.
That's the name of your team?
Yeah, and one of the other managers said, hey, you guys could be the Knobs. But, yeah.
You know what? Well,
I think
your
like
kid's
that
on the
one.
team.
I like that one.
But yeah, me too.
No. I like that
How
one.
could you do that, though?
He got a high five for that one. That was funny. But
So the other kids
that's
have
it,
to
man.
sit there and go 2, 4, 6, 8. Who do we appreciate?
Noble's
Kitchen
Kitchen.
and Bath. Like, that's stupid, dude.
Yeah.
Noble Kitchen and Baths, man. Somebody else
Chico's
is like,
Bells Bomb?
Manny's Landscaping. Yeah, and yeah, it's.
My mom sponsored a team
kind of
once.
that fool.
My dad did. My dad wanted to sponsor a team so bad that he sponsored another team within our division.
The Steelers.
The Steelers. We were the Redskins, but we already had a sponsor. So rather than just go, all right, I'm out, he goes and sponsors another team. That made no sense. He just really wanted to sponsor someone, I guess. I don't know. So the Steelers were sponsored by Golden West Cleaners. My mom had a cleaners when we were growing up. But, yeah, they were the Steelers, not the Golden West Cleaners. So that is pretty silly. You sit that guy down and go, hey, let's have a beer, Vato. Let me explain to you how dumb this looks. Let's just go with the Cubs. We're from Chicago. Or if there's a lot of Cubs out there, then maybe just be the Cubbies. Or just be the Chi-Town, the Winds. I don't know. I mean, anything.
Yeah,
anything
I
but.
wanted to be the Lions. We had agreed on the Lions, and maybe we'll still do it. But
I'd rather be Team 4
Anyway.
than
I'd even go like fucking the NBA, Los Lakers or something in Spanish. But I wouldn't want to be the Noble. What is it? The Noble Kitchen and Bath?
Noble Kitchen and Baths.
Doesn't that dude
Noble
speak
Kitchen
up?
and
I
Bath.
mean, why doesn't he go? That does kind of sound stupid. Just make sure my name's on the jersey and we're good.
Right. Yeah. I'm like, damn. How much are you charging these people? Like, I mean, I would think the name on the shirt kind of covers the appreciation for the money.
That's a lot of money
but,
that just went
anyway.
down the drain though for Noble's Kitchen and Bath. I don't know.
For sure.
Danny.
Danny's not there.
Oh,
That's Victoria.
Veronica. Victoria. That's what I said.
Yeah.
Okay. Goes. Great idea on the app. I enjoyed it. Verdict. So
That was fun, huh?
I think that was 30-27 for Verdict. Good, solid. And Kelvin Gastelum, is he the new Diego Sanchez?
How so?
Well,
Far from that.
the Mexican, he speaks Spanish.
And
what I mean is the
Portuguese.
kid who came in, he comes in and is just a tornado. You know you're going to get 3 to 5 rounds of nonstop. Just he's out there to kill, and that's refreshing to see. And it just kind of the way he fights. He's not always the best technique. He's small for his division, like Diego was when he was a middleweight. You know, and of course they're opposites. Diego went down. This guy's moving up. But anyway, I love that guy, man. I mean, to think he was a 155er, and he's up there fighting these animals at middleweight. Of course, you know.
Is that what you
we
think?
know that
he's an animal?
Oh man, you stumped me. Where's that from?
Menace to Society.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Oh yeah, you're right.
Yo,
Yeah.
Kane, how come you
Anyway,
didn't come visit me? I didn't want to come visit you all fucking locked up like an
Yes.
animal. Is that what you think? That I'm an
Yes.
animal?
Yes, Ronnie, right? You're looking out for Ronnie. That's right. Yeah,
Oh, he
yeah.
was looking out for her,
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah, man. Anyway, that's all I wanted to say. I enjoyed that. I'm a big fan of Kelvin, man. I think he's he's a threat. But how far do you think he can go? And I'll take it off the air.
All right, see you, buddy.
Guys.
In that division, not very far. In the welterweight division, pretty far.
You know, goes.
No, George. Think of the killers at the top.
Mm-hmm. But
Don't do it.
I'm gonna explain it this way. The reason I don't think he can get the top of 185 is if you were to tell Kelvin, like Bisping, hey, either Bisping or GSP fell. Well, that's a bad example. If I were to just say, GSP fell out, Kelvin, can you fill in? Don't you think Kelvin would have a good shot?
Yeah.
Okay. If I were to say, let's say Jacare was the champ, and I would say, whoever was fighting Jacare fell out, Kelvin, will you fill in? Not as good of a shot, but he has a shot.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think he can compete with almost any 85er, but it's the road to get to the shot where you'll just go, hang on a second, he's got to get through Musasi, Jacare, and then the world title? No. Go back to welterweight. That part I agree with. But just Kelvin against a middleweight or a welterweight, I kind of give him a shot now. He's very aggressive. He hits hard. He's full of confidence. I mean, he's clicking on all cylinders. But to get to the title, that's the tough part.
It's funny because that season of Tough, we were all talking about Uriah Hall.
Mm-hmm. I found, we're going to go to a commercial here in just a sec, but I found last year's London card. It was headlined by Michael Bisping versus Anderson Silva. It also had Gegard Mousasi versus Talis Latis. Then there was a drop-off to Tom Breese and Keita Nakamura. There was a Brad Pickett versus Francisco Rivera on there. And then on the bottom part, Krzysztof Jotko, who's now ranked, was there. Rustam Kabalov probably was ranked back then. He doesn't have very many losses. Timur, who was just on the main card of 209, he was there. So there was a little bit of name recognition. This week, though, the main event is Manuel Anderson. That's not Bisping Anderson. Joban and Gunner is not bad. Musasi's a bigger name than both, but Mousasi carries the latest name a little bit. So Joban and Gunner don't get dwarfed by that kind of main event. And then there's Pickett, Allen, Joseph Duffy's on there. Yeah, there's a drop-off. I think it's just star power versus star power. The all-time great against the current champ, or what would soon be the current champ, versus Anderson versus Manuel. But you know what? The card's set. All we can do is support it. We'll watch it on Saturday. Here's your start times. It's all on the UFC Fight Pass, and it starts at 1:30 p.m. Eastern, 10:30 a.m. Pacific. The main card, which is separated, the last 4 fights, that'll be a 5 p.m. Eastern start time, 2 p.m. Pacific. You're listening to MMA Junkie Radio on Sirius XM Rush 93. When we come back, we'll be talking to UFC flyweight Ray Borg.
wisdom, compassion, common sense. These guys have none of that. You listen to them, so you're no better. I am awesome, though. They are Gorgeous George and Goes.
All right, we're back, and we're coming down the home stretch of another fine edition of MMA Junkie Radio. We do this show 2 hours a day, live from the Racing Sportsbook inside the Mandalay Bay Resort and Casino. So if you're ever in town for business or pleasure, or both, come on down at 10 a.m. That's what time the show starts. You can get here a little bit earlier. Goes creeps up around 9 or so. I'm kind of the guy. Goes walks up to the studio like a gentleman at 9 a.m.
Well, you make me seem like the guy from Menace to Society walking through, like,
what was his name
looking
again?
in both directions.
Eilena's cousin?
Yeah. I just picture myself with a hat and a trench coat or something.
I'm gonna
I
twist.
stroll in. Ghost strolls in around 8:45.
Ghost strolls in around 8:45. I tend to stay a little later. Not always, though. Like today, it's Man U versus Chelsea at 12:45 p.m. Pacific. This is the FA Cup. This is one of the many trophies that we're still in the running for. However, Chelsea's tough. That's the number one team in the Premier League. They're in first place in the Premier League. They're a well-rested team because they're not really in many other competitions. And all of our strikers are hurt. Zlatan Ibrahimovic is suspended for 3 games. And then Rooney, Martial, and Rashford, one of them sick, the other 2 are hurt. So it's a patchwork team, but you know what? You got to believe. That's all I can say. All right. I believe Ray Borg is ready to go. Can you confirm that, Victoria?
He's ready.
Yeah, he's there.
All right, he's there. Ray Borg put on a great performance along with Jussier Formiga. Both of them, really. Hats off to both of them, man. That was an awesome fight to witness down in Fortaleza, Brazil. They were throwing heat at each other. Joining us now is the winner of that fight, Ray Borg. What's up, Ray? How you doing?
Good, man. Good. Just rolled back into Albuquerque, hanging out. How are you guys?
Dude, we're on cloud 9. For one, the event was really good. But let me tell you something. Your fight with Formiga was everywhere. You guys were striking. You guys were grappling. The scrambles, the transitions. I mean, seriously, that's why we tune in for fights like that. And that fight had high stakes, you know, because you're going for a title shot. Formiga wants a title shot. You guys are both ranked fighters. Much respect, man, to that performance for both of you guys. He's not on the line, though. It's you. So, obviously, we're sending that your way, too, man.
Hey, man. Thanks. I appreciate it. My perception of shit when I'm fighting is off, man. Like, I'm so adrenaline pumped that it's all off. So, to be honest, I even told a bunch of people, like, in the cage after the fight, I was like, damn, was that a good fight? Did that fight suck? It felt like it sucked. It felt boring. But, I mean, I guess I'm just so, like, used to, like, a ridiculous grappling pace. That's how I know we're going at a high pace. So I was kind of, like, in my mind, first glance, I thought it was a boring fight. But I'm glad everybody enjoyed it.
Hell yeah. It was a really, really good fight. Just last night, Ray, I was at Planet Fitness. I walked for 6 minutes, and then I go, I'm going to bump this up. Ran for 2, and my tongue was hanging out. And so I put it back on walk for 6 minutes and run for 2. So trust me, man, as a media member, as a fat boy, as a fan, I just can't believe the pace of what you guys were doing, which was way more than what I was doing. It really was a sight to behold. I know I'm going overboard here, but the flyweights were on display. And get this. So the little guys, the smaller guys, you guys get this little tag, sorry. Oh, yeah, but they can't hit. They can't put anyone out. Fuck that shit. I would not have wanted to get hit by anything you guys were throwing. Those uppercuts, holy cow.
Yeah, you know, I don't know. My mentality for the fight changed before the event happened. We had a totally different game plan. Our game plan was to showcase my striking, you know. No one really knows that I could strike, you know, and, you know, we kind of figured, hey, his ground game's so good, you know, it might cancel each other out. You know, maybe this is the fight to finally show the progression of my striking. But it was supposed to be a lot more in and out, technical, strike, hit, move. But for some reason before the event, I kind of told myself, you know what? I just feel like fucking biting down on my mouthpiece and just throwing down, and I have no idea why. Maybe it's because, you know, I've been away from my family all week and it's been annoying. Brazil was so hot. I'm like, I just want to go in there, bite down, and just fucking throw hands with this guy. So, that was kind of my intention going into it.
And I left that out, and Ray just covered it. The humidity. I mean, the guys that were calling the fights were sweating. So it was pretty humid down there. And, of course, going down, traveling, being down there for their summer, the humidity, adjusting to their nutrition, air quality, whatever. It's all different. And that's why just can't say enough about both of you guys. You were the winner, though, and you progressed. And now you can possibly be looking at a title shot later this year. I don't know. But, again, great fight. Much improvement in your striking, a great diversity in the strikes you were throwing, and I really liked that. A lot of people will say he's going to the well too many times, but I think when you identify a strike that's working, why would you not go to it? So that uppercut that just kept landing, it was like, man, Ray Borg can strike. Man, Jussier can take a punch. Wow, Jussier can, he can throw a kick. Wow, Ray Borg can take a kick. I mean, it was back. I couldn't even keep up with, my admiration for both of you guys, but. Seriously, I'm done. Let me switch it over here to Goes. He's got some more intelligent questions than I just had.
Oh, now I got pressure. Ray, you mentioned that sometimes you're a little disoriented when all that stuff's going on. You can't tell if it was really a good fight or not. That being said, going to the judges, what was your feeling like there? Are you confident as the score is being read, or was there just too much going on for you to even know where you stood?
Well, during that fight, I turned to my corner right away after the fight, and I asked him what he thought, because usually I can, because I'm predominantly a grappler. If I'm on top just beating the hell out of you, I know I'm winning. Obviously, I know I'm winning, and I dominate. It's easy. If it goes to a decision, I get up clear. Okay, there's no way I lost that fight. But, a couple things played in my head, considering that we were in Brazil. And it was back and forth, and I knew I needed that third round on my side, and I knew I needed to finish strong in that third round. And because those first two rounds were close and we were, throwing back and forth nonstop, I wasn't too sure. And then I felt like I did win. It was a close fight, and it was a very back and forth fight. I knew that I won, but then again, one of the things I told myself, leading the whole fight camp leading into this is that. If it goes to a decision, I need to make sure I win that decision because we're in Brazil. So, I was kind of real nervous, even in the post-fight, when they're about to announce the winner, I had a lot of confidence that I won. And as soon as I heard unanimous, because I thought it was close, but as soon as I heard unanimous, I was like, damn, they gave it to the Brazilian. The Brazilians gave it to the Brazilian, and then I was kind of frustrated because that's what I thought was going to happen. And then, they ended up announcing my name. I thought it was right. I'd watched the fight already, on the long-ass plane ride home. I was able to get on some Wi-Fi and check it out. And, I definitely feel like I won that fight.
Goes, before you ask your next question.
Oh, it's going to be intelligent.
Something ain't right with Fortaleza is probably, Ray can correct me, but I would say a 2-3 hour flight from Rio de Janeiro or Sao Paulo. Ray more than likely had to go Fortaleza back down south to Rio or Sao Paulo, and then back north 10 hours. Jesus. To the connection doesn't make sense. Let me put it to you like this: Ray Borg was probably in Dallas, flew to L.A. to fly back to New York.
Ugh.
Yeah, something like that, or maybe even further east. Right, Ray? Is that what you guys had to do?
Very, very, very close to that. So my first trip out there was from Albuquerque to L.A., L.A. to Sao Paulo, Sao Paulo to Fortaleza. And then coming home, it was Fortaleza to Sao Paulo, Sao Paulo to Dallas, Dallas to Albuquerque.
Like we heard in the movie Harlem Nights, that's just dumb. They got to figure that out.
Yeah.
Go ahead, guys.
But no, I'm glad you brought that up because it kind of plays into my next question. And that's anytime you kind of play the game, you got sent into enemy territory, you got the victory, you looked good in the process. I feel like you've won a little bit, like your leash got longer, you won. You can kind of call your next shot a little bit to a certain extent. Don't get crazy. But do you feel that way? And I know that you did bring up some of the guys at the top, but there was one name that everybody kind of looked around and said, hey, this might make sense. What did you think of Joseph Benavidez as your next opponent?
Yeah, I've been seeing that a lot, on Twitter, and it is a fight that makes sense. Of course, it makes sense. He's won his last few fights. People. I didn't watch the fight with him and Cejudo, but people from what I saw, people thought Cejudo won. But like I said, I didn't watch that fight, so it obviously makes sense, to fight Benavidez, and it's whoever they want me to fight, dude. I mean, like I said, if they want me to rush into this title shot, I've shown time and time again I can rise to the occasion and I can perform no matter what the circumstances. That's just what I do. But also, if they want me to kind of pump the brakes and, get another good fight, then I'll do that too, man. It really doesn't matter to me. I mean, I'm young. I'm in no rush. If they want me to be in a rush, I'll be in a rush. It's all up to them, But it's a matchup that very well makes sense. And I definitely feel like with this win over Formiga, I do have I wouldn't say so much of a pull. I'm not trying to say that, like, hey, the UFC's got to do what I want to do now on my terms. But, I showed a lot in that fight with a lot of different things. Because, one, it's never easy going out there and, cutting weight, getting adjusted, and doing all that stuff in a whole different country, especially with the flight and the travel. But one thing I told everybody before this fight and after my last fight is that I get shit done and I fix my mistakes. And one of that was being my nutrition and my weight cut. And I went in there healthy as a bird, made weight easy. And, that was a big step. Even though it's part of the job, it's something I should really brag about anyways. But the fact that I was able to fix all that while, that was my first time going out of the country, period. I've never been on a flight longer than 4 hours, so that was new to me as well. And then, the fact that I beat, a Brazilian in Brazil, I mean, I feel like that was a good little, gives me some good leverage. But, and then again, at the end of the day, it's, I'm all for whatever they want me to do.
Yeah, that is admirable, man, because the last fight, the weight miss or missed weight or whatever, for you to go that and then have to prove yourself on the road, when your body trips a little bit, the way it holds water, you tackled that and, you made weight and then you fought a Brazilian in hostile territory. So I think you crossed off a lot of check marks, Ray. And now you've won 5 of your last 6, 11-2. And your performances, I don't know how you didn't walk out of there with an additional $50,000. I was kind of mad about that. They decided not to do a fight of the night, so they went with performance of the night. And usually they lean towards the guys that close and finish. But something ain't right, man. You guys put it out there.
Yeah, I didn't see the rest of the fight, so I couldn't really call whether or not we deserved it. But when I seen that they didn't do a fight of the night, and then I went back and rewatched the fight, I was kind of like, I think we could have earned a bonus, especially because everyone's got this mindset about flyweights being boring or not exciting. And I think that's what was so important about this fight is because it was going to do either one or two things. And I think that was the excitement behind it, is that it was either going to be, okay, Formiga wins, the top 5 is still stale, and it's still the same dudes. But now that I beat Formiga, kind of coming out of the shadows, I was a little inactive in 2016. It's like, okay, there's there's a new face in the top 5. Things are interesting now, and things are very interesting. So, that was what I was happy to, believe it or not, from not only myself but also Formiga. That's something I do give Formiga respect, is because, obviously he's a really good grappler, and he's shown in a lot of previous fights that if he loses the striking exchange, he reverts to, his grappling, as would I, so on and so forth. But, there were some times I hit him with some really hard shots, and he chose to stand there and, and throw down with me. So I respected that from him a lot, and that just kind of shows a lot that, the flyweights aren't something to really take lightly, man. We go in there and we put on good shows.
Yeah. You guys shook up the division nicely. You were the winner, so you sent more of the shockwaves. But you're right; it's so important when ranked fighters go in there, and we're looking for the next contenders. When you can have a performance like that, that does wonders for the promotion with their video highlights package, and then your name itself. I thought you had a very good post-fight speech where you attached yourself to the winner of Hayes and Johnson. So a lot of check marks on Saturday's performance. Great grades across the board.
Yeah, man. Thank you. It's been a hard road. I've been battling a lot of shit, but I just kind of overcome shit. I figure shit out, and I rise to the occasion, man. So it was a fun night in Brazil. To be honest, if I do have any type of pull with the UFC, would to be not to fight in Brazil anymore. But I'll fight wherever they want me to.
Yeah, I hope they reconsider it, and there's some sort of a social media push just to get you guys bonused a little. Because not to pile on, but this is something we talked about, I think, with Kevin Lee, who was on the same card as you when he was co-hosting. Goes can correct me, baby. But remember we were talking about international travel? Was it Benny Dariush or Kevin Lee? Remember that came up, Goes?
Yeah, it came up in that
You have to
interview.
fly your team out there. You only get the one ticket and then your one cornerman. And anybody else that comes out of your pocket. That's not a cheap flight. And then the taxes coming back to America sometimes hurt you as well. So I think in those times, you want to maybe look out for some fighters when you can.
Definitely.
10 Gs, 20 Gs, something, man, would go a long way for two guys that just spill blood like that and put on a show. And a new contender was born. So hopefully that works out. Now, Mick Maynard is one of the matchmakers, and he was there as the executive, I guess, for talent relations. Is he the matchmaker for your division, or do you get Sean Shelby?
No, I almost 100. I haven't read too much into it, but I'm about 95% positive that Mick is the matchmaker for my division now.
Yeah, I was gonna say, man, if you could find him at the airport or something, it would have been nice to just see what he's thinking. A lot of times, I think you can have those little sidebars when you guys are traveling internationally, just to see where you fit, what they're thinking.
Oh yeah, we definitely caught up on the trip.
Oh yeah,
the trip back home. Yeah, we were on the same flight going to Sao Paulo. So we chatted a little bit, but I don't want to be the annoying push guy. So like, hey, what's next? So we just chatted. I really like Mick. I fought for Mick in Legacy, so I didn't want to be that guy to talk about work when we're clocked out. So I was kind of, we just had some coffee, me, Brandon Gibson, and Reed as well was there on the same flight. So, we just had some coffee and chit-chat a little bit, and Mick, expressed that it was a great fight. And not only great, but, people, not only Mick, but a lot of other people were talking more about how it was a great fight for my division. So, it's pretty cool stuff.
All right, cool. Mission accomplished then. Ray, thanks for the time, man. I know you just got back, so for you to set aside 15 minutes for us, we really appreciate it. Get some rest, and cannot wait for your next one. Seriously, we cannot wait.
All right, man. Thank you, guys. I appreciate all the support.
All right, Ray. Take care. All right, folks. That's Ray Borg. Give him a follow on Twitter at TaxMexUFC. And you know what? We're going to take our last break before the show ends. You're listening to MMA Junkie Radio on Sirius XM, Rush 93.
King Kong has a lot of shit on them. Like a lot, especially Goes. Here, Gorgeous George and Goes.
I was saying during the commercial break, I almost used strong as an ox and almost as smart. But I can't remember who it was. I think I was going to send it to Big Jim.
Yeah?
Yeah, when he showed us the accident.
Why are people smart as a whip?
I don't know.
Who makes this shit up?
I don't know.
Smart as a whip.
Yeah, Ray Borg.
Get
Love
real.
him to death. Great fight. But I had never heard of smart as a bird. Right?
Healthy
as a bird?
Yeah, because they got their own flu.
Right. I don't know. Well, what animals
They're so
particularly
sick.
So you'd have to pick an animal that lives forever.
Like a
'Cause,
tortoise?
Yeah. I'm as healthy as a desert tortoise.
Yeah, tortoise.
They live for hundreds of years, right?
I think so.
The last thing you want to say is I'm as healthy as what dies quickly. I mean, without the African mosquito that dies in 23 seconds. No.
Goldfish.
Goldfish? They die quick? 3 years?
No, not even like. They don't
Juliet
die.
had a fish for a long time, like at least 3 years, maybe
Really?
more. Yeah.
A goldfish? I thought they die like fast.
Oh, I don't know. Oh, here we go. It's on. 610 area code is in the house. Sam All Jam. What's up, Sam? How you doing?
What's up, family? What's going on?
Not much.
Why are you saying it's on?
Because March
It's
Madness,
on. March
baby.
Madness. It's on this week. Yeah, March Madness. College hoops.
Oh, all right. I thought I missed something.
No.
You know what I mean? Yeah, I'm a little excited, man. Although this impending snowstorm out here has me a little depressed.
Well, that's why you got to leave early.
I tried that, man. I tried that.
What happened?
Oh, the flights were shut down?
Well, the majority of the flights, I tried to get out today, but all those flights were booked up. There was one flight I could have got on yesterday, but...
Well, why'd you come out then?
Well, there was a couple of reasons. I jokingly told Goes in Blue that the reason I didn't go was because I hadn't get my hair cut. I'm going to get my hair cut in about 15 minutes as we speak. But that was jokingly, although it is partly true, you know what I mean? But the truth of the matter was the only flight going out yesterday was leaving like at 1 p.m. I would have had to make 2 connections. I was getting in like crazy late at night. I was like, fuck that, man. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I just pushed. I got the same flight that I was getting tomorrow, 24 hours later, Wednesday. So, but now the way the storm is looking, I'm hoping I get out Wednesday. I don't know.
Right. So this is what I'll say. Let's say you had hopped on the flight yesterday with 2 stops.
Right.
You finally reach your destination and you crash and you go, man, that fucking sucks. That's bullshit. 2 fucking airports and people and fighting for the armrest and they lost one of my bags. That sucks. Okay. On the degree of 1 to 10, that sucks probably like, what, an 8.5, a 9? Because it ain't like
7.
a death. That ain't a death. It's 7, right?
Yeah.
Right. But now what he's risking is that on Wednesday they go, he gets a text, sorry, flight canceled. That's a 10, dog. It's not death, but we'll call it a 9.5. That trumps the other one. So I tend to look at things like, what's the worst that can happen?
Right.
So yeah, I think you misplayed your hand, but whatever. I hope that you make it out here.
Me
really
too.
No. Yeah, for sure.
But this is bullshit, man, because I'll tell you what, when I talk about Sam All Jam, he calls in going, yo, what's up, man? I heard you're confronting me. Come on, you don't know what I've done, and I'll fly on the first fly out there, and it's on or whatever. When Ghost Stun Guns on, he's like giggling, me and Blue and a phone call and goes, and I can't wait to see you.
I didn't even know I got Stun Gun on the real. I was calling because I'm like, yo, I'm driving home, because normally I go to the gym afterward, but I'm driving home today, no gym. I'm like, yo, let me call the show and talk about Vito and Belfort, but now all of a sudden I find out I got Stun Gun for real.
Ghost Stun Gun you,
Yeah, I had to stun gun you over the hair, man.
Oh, he's giggling, no problem. They're chums, buddies forever, but when it's George, oh, fuck, the gloves come off.
No.
All right, we got to go, Sam. That's the music right there. The show's ending. Take care, man.
I'll see you guys in a couple of days.
All right, safe
Easy.
travels. We'll see you in a couple of days. Take care, buddy. I really hope he makes it out. And those of you that are going to get blanketed, honestly, man, hoping for the best there.
I sent a driver to pick him up. I told him, you don't even have to have a sign. Just you'll see him when he gets off. You'll see that hair, and you go, that's my boy.
That's him right
That's
there.
the guy I'm picking up with that cool-ass hair.
Yeah. All right, so thank you to Ray Borg for his time. Shout out to myself for hooking that up. Thank you to Victoria. She did a great job. She giggled at all my jokes. And somehow she got Sam to call in. Great Great scoop there, Victoria.
You got it.
See, she took credit for it. She knows how to roll with it. Tomorrow we'll be back at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific with another edition of MMA Junkie Radio. For Victoria and Goes, Sean over there from Arizona, I'm George. Have a nice day. Go out there and be champions and go, man, you.